Out of this world. From half a billion kilometers away, pictures of the comet are beamed back to Earth. They bid, they score. Despite controversy, FIFA's ethics committee decides Russia and Qatar will host the 2018 and 2022 World Cups. And no eggs, no surfboards, no toy cars. Australia makes anything that can be used as a weapon illegal to carry during the G20 summit this weekend. Hi, and welcome to Humber News. I'm Earl Abalahan, coming to you from our newsroom here at Humber College North Campus. Rosetta's lander is now safely anchored on the comet's surface and has sent its first image back home. That's the sound of the magnetic fields around Comet 67P, and the photo shows its cracked surface with one of Philae's 3 legs on the bottom left. The European Space Agency says it's a very happy lander, but Philae had a bumpy ride. It bounced twice back into space after touching down. It was a historic first day on Wednesday when Philae landed on the fast-moving comet. There are now concerns about its battery life. The ESA says it's limited and it needs sunlight to charge. Security is on high alert ahead of the G20 summit this weekend. Australian officials are preparing for everything from unruly protests to mass hostage-taking. World leaders from Canada, the U.S., and other nations will take part in the summit. Police have spent 2 years speaking to protest groups angry about climate change and the shooting down of MH17. Thousands of police officers, bomb-detecting robots, and a drone for crowd surveillance will be at work during the summit. Meanwhile, in Syria, U.S. officials say progress is being made against the militant group ISIS. The U.S.-led coalition is keeping up their assault against the militant group. U.S. officials say airstrikes destroyed a logistics facility and 3 fighting positions controlled by ISIS. The Free Syrian Army and Iraqi Kurdish forces have also freed several neighborhoods in Kobani from the military group. Here at home, PEI Premier Robert Giz is resigning. Giz made the announcement a short while ago at the Charlottetown Legislature. He's been leader of the Provincial Liberals since 2006 and Premier since 2007. Giz says he's leaving politics now to give the next leader enough time to prepare for the provincial election in 2015. Outgoing Brampton Mayor Susan Fennell will lose 3 months' salary to pay back $144,000 in improper expenses. The city commissioner confirms Fennell has broken the code of conduct. The decision comes after a forensic audit by Deloitte Canada found multiple spending violations by Fennell and her staff.
I've been living in Brampton for over 29 years. Susan Fennell, she has done a very good job at the beginning, but coming down to the end, I guess she took things for granted and was using her own, the money that we all taxpayers put in here for our own personal use, for transportation, for dinners and stuff like that. And I think it's only fair that she lose her 3 months pay that she was supposed to be losing, and I think that's fair enough.
Fennell was defeated in last month's election by Linda Jeffries. She'll be sworn in as mayor in December. The 2018 and 2022 FIFA World Cups will go ahead in Russia and Qatar. A 42-page report from the FIFA Ethics Committee has cleared 2 host countries. Construction is going ahead in new stadiums in both countries. Russia faced criticism because of its political situation as well as corruption allegations. But the report found no misconduct during the bidding process. Qatar has been fighting allegations since it was awarded the bid in 2010, but again was not found guilty. Meanwhile, here at Humber, it's the Pan Am Games that have everyone talking. Pan Am events have been going on all morning. Joining us live is Patrick Valois. Patrick?
Thanks, Earl. Well, the Pan Am and the Para-Pan Am Day Festival is just wrapping up behind me. This event was put together to get Humber students excited for the Pan Am Games that are happening in Toronto next year. Now, on top of promoting the Pan Am Games, the sports management students are raising money for the Canadian Olympic Foundation and the Canadian Paralympic Foundation through a 50-50 draw and a raffle where students could win some sports swag. As you might have noticed around campus, there's also some mini games set up to promote the games, including soccer, mini golf, and Wii Sport. Now, all of this is done, as I mentioned, by second-year sports management students. I'm here with a student beside me here. This is Matthew Moore. Hi, Matthew. How does putting together an event like this benefit sports management students?
Well, it benefits a lot actually. It's mainly a theoretical course. We took event management. So we take through various weeks, we go through the process, and then after learning it, an event like this allows us to put it into practice. which really there's no substitute for experience. So just getting that opportunity, it's so much more informative than just learning it in class.
Thanks, Matthew. Now, if you missed the events today, don't fear. You can donate to the Canadian Olympic and Paralympic Foundation by visiting olympic.ca/foundation, and make sure to check out the Paralympic Games and Pan Am Games next year in Toronto. Reporting live from the Humber North Concourse, Patrick Valawa, Humber News. Back to you, Earl.
Thanks, Patrick. This year's edition of Air Show China is underway, and it's definitely a sight to behold. Displays of colored smoke, corkscrew loops, and spirals were enough to have viewers in awe. Acrobatic teams included jets from the United Arab Emirates, China's People's Liberation Army, and Russia's Air Forces. The show has attracted nearly 7,000 exhibitors from 41 countries. Today is day 4 of Gluten Freedom Week in Toronto, and here at Humber College, raising an overall awareness of becoming a priority. Ainsley Smith has the story.
As Gluten Freedom Week in Toronto is coming to an end, students at Humber College are left without many gluten-free options. It seems that reaching for the quick option is always easier, but Susan Somerville, Dean of Hospitality and Recreation, says,
Well, a gluten-free diet is very important for people that have a gluten intolerance or they have celiac disease. So in Canada, that is about 1% of our population. One of the things about a gluten-free diet is a lot of the grains that are gluten-free are things like rice, and so a lot of the products aren't actually very healthy, so it's important to remember not to avoid healthy whole grains.
She also says that the Humber Room does offer a gluten-free option list for students who don't always want to eat in the cafeteria.
Several options that are gluten-free. You could order the classic Caesar salad just without the croutons. Our red beet salad is gluten-free, and then from our main courses, 3 of our 4 entrees, the chicken, the sirloin steak, and the Atlantic salmon are all gluten-free.
But down at the cafeteria, students are left uninformed about what gluten really is.
It's in everything, our pizza, our wheat, anything that has a grain in it. So
I guess it's a great way to live because I'm not really sure. I don't know that much about gluten.
Well, I don't really know much about gluten, so...
Despite the mixed reviews that living a gluten-free lifestyle might receive, it is actually very beneficial to one's health. From asking your server about gluten-free options on the menu, to attending events such as Gluten Free Week Toronto, you're ensuring yourself a very healthy future. Ainsley Smith, Humber News.
When we come back, we'll tell you what's happening in the world of sports, and Marielle Torfranca will have your 3-day forecast.
As you can see, everyone seems to be busting out winter jackets and even gloves. And with a small chance of snow this weekend, winter may finally be here. We'll have your full 3-day forecast after the break.
We'll have your full sports and weather reports after the break, but first, if you weren't looking, but just listening, you'd think it was Matthew McConaughey.
All right, all right, all right. All right, all right.
Einstein the Parrot is getting top marks for his solid impression of McConaughey's famous trademark catchphrase. McConaughey fans worldwide are loving this fine-feathered, smooth talker.
All